Moves it out to the 35-yard line. Let's take a look now at the Coors Light scoreboard. Dallas defeats Denver by 10. And Minnesota wins by 10. So we'll have Dallas and Minnesota next Sunday night. Miami rolled over New England early this afternoon. And the Oakland Raiders go to 2-0.
They have some talent, particularly on offense.
That Kansas City score brings to mind this one because the Giants were up by 14 in that game. Kansas City came back and won it. Ricky Waters back in. That is his 12th carry. Jets were up by 21 and lost in overtime. How do you like the tabloids in New York City now?
Yeah, big day there.
They'll be fun to read.
Yeah.
Now see, here's more pictures. Now what are they looking at?
Well, Romanowski's trying to figure out how he can pick off another ball, another pass. That guy, Romanowski, has played well. All their linebackers have played well.
It's 17-6. Rodney Pete on at quarterback. Randall Cunningham yanked by Ray Rhodes in the second quarter of a scoreless game. Waters, not much.
You know, Vern, as this game winds down to under a minute in the third quarter with the Eagles up 17-6, you know, this Cardinal defense has to force something. They need a turnover. They've only caused one turnover tonight. They had no turnovers last week. And so this is a team that Ronnie Jones's defense thrive on turnovers, but they're not causing them that yet this year. They need one desperately right now.
Second down and 10 for the Cardinals. This is a team that has not won a home opening game here since they moved here from St. Louis in '88. They're down by 11. Pete back. That one's overthrown. He tried to get Barnett, and it would have been taken a perfect pass.
And we got a little fight going. And I do mean little. There's not much happening there. Bring in Peter McNeely.
Joe Panos, the former Zoyas Panagitopoulos. I knew I'd get a second chance at that.
You would. I know. You practiced that in the preseason, and you jammed it in there, shoehorned it in there again.
Yep. Antone Davis. By the way, Lester Holmes, one of the injured players for Philadelphia, and Kevin Turner, the fullback, both will have MRIs back in Philly tomorrow. 3rd and 10. Pete with time, left side, man open, caught. Barnett leans out, has a first down. It's Calvin Williams, not Barnett. 89 instead of 86.
And that's Williams' first catch of the evening. Barnett has 3, but that's Williams' first catch of the evening. And these are dynamic wide receivers. They're just not using them a lot or enough.
We've reached the end of 3, and the Eagles lead it by 11. Back for the final 15 at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona.
It's not been a scoring fest. You know, there's a guy, living proof that photosynthesis works.
The sun did go down.
And they crawled out.
Yes. Vern Lundquist, Pat Hayden. And Philadelphia has a first down after that catch by Calvin Williams. Rob Carpenter's in the lineup now, number 81. McCrary in motion. Ricky Waters, not much there this time. And again, if you did join us late, in a 0-0 ball game, Ray Rhodes yanked his starting quarterback, Randall Cunningham. At the time, Cunningham was 3 for 8 for 29 yards. He had thrown an interception. It had been picked off by Patrick Hunter. A really stand-up decision by Ray Rhodes.
Well, you know, he is a stand-up guy. He had made it perfectly clear that if you do not produce, he didn't care who you were, how much money you were making, you were going to be sitting next to him. And he benched Cunningham early in this game. A surprise, though, when the score was 0-0.
Rodney Pete has been in since then. Here's the blitz. Pete, left side. Caught. Calvin Williams over Patrick Hunter.
You notice the Eagles don't pick on Aeneas Williams much. Aeneas Williams, the other corner, is one of those guys that does not get a lot of attention. You talk so much about Deion Sanders, everybody has for the last month and certainly today, but this guy, Aeneas Williams, is an awfully good cover corner. And so you go the other way with a big old cushion there, number 24, Patrick Hunter. He gets pushed deep, well-run route by Calvin Williams. And then both these receivers just snatch the ball. I mean, they don't wait, they attack it. They don't wait for it to come to them.
Charlie Garner is on in the backfield. He gets the handoff and comes right. Garner, quick and effective. And he moves it all the way down to the 15-yard line. Brent Alexander with the tackle.
You know, it looked like the middle linebacker, Garth Jacks, number 53, right here in the middle of your screen, overruns the play. He overruns it, and Garner just seizes the hole where he left. So Garth Jacks filling in for Eric Hill. As a middle linebacker, you have to be patient and hang in there for the cutback runs. He overruns it, and Garner seizes the moment.
And the Eagles have rushed for 155 yards against Arizona now. Last week, 259 by the Washington Redskins. And here's the run inside by Garner. He's down near the 10-yard line.
Well, Garth Jacks comes back after overrunning the last play, Vern, and makes the stop here. You got to fight through some traffic when you're a middle linebacker, and he read that one perfectly. But for Cardinal fans, or fan, there's only, there's not a lot to root for. I mean, the defense is not the same defense it was a year ago when it dominated. The bad news also is the offense looks to be the same as last year. Very ineffectual.
160 on the ground now for the Eagles. That's Ed West, who went east.
No, he went north. But he went the wrong direction at the wrong time.
I know he moved a heavy compass.
We got a false start on number 83 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's been a sore spot for Ray Rhodes and John Gruden because they brought in Reggie Johnson from Green Bay. He proved to be a bust. They had Maurice Johnson as a backup. They cut him. Ed West, they got off the waiver wire. He was released by Indianapolis. Yep. And, of course, Ray Rhodes and John Gruden had played with him in Green Bay.
Here's the deficiencies by the Eagles a week ago. Only two possessions inside the 20, no touchdowns. And see what defensively, they didn't play good offense or defense inside the 20.
Rodney Peete has Garner behind him. They hand it to Garner. Oh, boy! Bernard Wilson, you said that you liked him against the run.
Yeah, he's not a great pass rusher, but he may be their most effective run stopper. Has a way of kind of reading blocks and feeling his way through traffic. You talk about quarterbacks that have a feel, or linebackers who have a feel for the passing game. He has a feel for the running game. Just kind of blew through a couple of guys. And, because he plays next to Eric Swan, he gets a lot of single blocks. So he should have penetration and be a good run stopper.
This will be a third down and 14.
Boy, those Cardinals all make a lot of tackles. You notice that?
Oh, there's a tackle gate here in the Valley of the Sun this week. Into the end zone. Touchdown! Fred Barnett.
Fred Barnett, in their West Coast offense, is and should be the first option. He will block for you. He'll catch short passes and maybe come into long ones. He'll make tough catches. He's got great body control, and that's a perfect read, a perfect throw, and another touchdown for the Eagles.
Rodney Peete to Fred Barnett. He has made a living off Arizona in the last couple of years. He caught 11 for 173 in a game in Philly last year. Here's Anderson's extra point. It is up and good. And his career high of 193 yards came here in Sun Devil Stadium on TNT a couple of years ago. The Eagles lead it by 18. 24-6, Philadelphia leads it. 11:08 to go in the ball game. And the Eagles up by 18. Greater dedication has no man for his job than he wear a suit in 98-degree heat. Yes. There's an overriding theme, Pat, to this game, and that is the yanking of two quarterbacks, Dave Craig, Randall Cunningham. The reverberations could be really widespread.
Well, I've never seen a game where both quarterbacks were pulled that early. Established quarterbacks. Remember, Randall Cunningham, he wasn't trailing. The game was 0-0 when he was pulled out. And a very strange events early in this ball game. And it was a quick hook for both quarterbacks. And the reverberations is what happens next week. What do you do with these guys next week? I think Rodney Peete is probably played well enough to earn a chance to start again next week. Dave Craig, I still believe, has to be the leader of this team. But you yank him in the home opener, and that's tough.
24-6. Mike Buck still in. Craig was yanked after he threw an interception that was returned for a touchdown by William Thomas. This pass from Buck on the line is good to Rob Moore. Number 85, Mark McMillan, makes the tackle.
And Mark McMillan hasn't gotten picked on much this evening. Remember, they used to work on him because Eric Allen was the other corner, but that's not happening this year. And size differential, boy, Rob Moore really pushed him deep, got him turned. Once you get a defensive back turned, you own him. But Mark McMillan is the beneficiary of Eric Allen leaving, and plus he's a good player. He is a good cover guy, Mark McMillan.
Moore with 4 catches now. That was a gain of 20. It's 1st and 10. Sanders. Another first down.
Yeah, Mike Buck is kind of getting into a rhythm. I mean, he's a big guy. He's 227 pounds. He's 6'3", and he is chucking the ball. He looks a lot more comfortable in his drops alone. He gets his feet set. He reads the coverage, and then he fires it. And he's got a pretty strong arm.
Notice the shoes.
They are ugly shoes. It's been an ugly offensive game, and he's got ugly shoes. I'm sorry.
Looks like he's wearing spats. Red spats.
They're bad.
Here's Buck going deep. Flag down.
For it. Yep.
Yeah, Mark McMillan's going to get flagged.
And Mark McMillan was saying he got pushed. Again, the size matchup that Dave Atkins, the offensive coordinator, said to us this week, I like Rob Moore against Mark McMillan. They have not used it much, but they did there.
McMillan.
There it is. Gets him turned, gets him inside. Well, that's a 33. I don't think that's pass interference. I'm sorry. They're going to call it on him. But I mean, he has every right to the ball. I'm talking about Mark McMillan as Rob Moore does. I don't think that's pass interference. He's got his head turned for the ball. He's adjusting. McMillan's adjusting for the ball, too.
See more contact in the square dance.
Yeah, that's not a penalty. I'm sorry.
No. It goes for 33 yards, though, and it gives. And McMillan even manages a bit of a smile. 3 tight ends set now for the Cardinals. They're in desperate straits. And that didn't help.
There was some penetration. I think it was Ronnie Dixon first, but there was some and Romanowski's still involved in it. Oh, there comes the flag.
And Larry Centers was down at the bottom of the pile.
Larry Centers looked like he was kicking some guys there late, too. Wow. The Cardinals always seem to lead the league in kind of brawls or mini brawls.
Only 3 penalties. Oh.
That's the umpire.
Wow. Ron Botchin in the middle of that with no padding and no helmet.
And no hat. Well, you always know the Raiders, or at least the Raiders of old, are going to lead the league in penalties, but the Eagles and Cardinals not too far behind.
Personal foul. Number 53 on the defense. Unnecessary roughness. Penalized half the distance to the goal line.
He's off.
And 53 is disqualified.
Whoa.
That's too bad because he had played well. I mean, he hit Centers when he was down and had his hands going into his face. But until that point, Bill Romanowski played well.
Had a pass interception that kind of set the tone for the evening.
The best play action down in goal line offense is first down. And the Cardinals are not getting a lot down here running the football. This is a good down for a play action pass.
They have 29 yards on the ground. And this is with Garrison Hurst back there, a young man who gained